Take your pick. Billy.
Trick or treat! Trick or treat! Trick or treat!
Boo! I am a high-priced Washington lobbyist peddling influence. Who wants cake?
Oh my gosh, I clicked the wrong button. Look who it is! That could not be a more last second.
Seriously.
There we
Wow.
go. There we go.
I was about to
I didn't even
berate
notice.
you so much.
Oh yeah, I was about to send you a message like, "Oh, computer's having problems. It's hating me." It restarted by itself like twice.
If you think your
I made
computer
it.
hates you,
Oh. Oh no.
get ready for Rhett.
No, not red.
That's not how you pronounce my name, and you know it.
Why include the extra letters then? Why not just be R-E-T?
It's for flair, and the R is silent.
R is silent, so it's het.
It's darn right. Old school name. From the Gone with the Winds era. You know that era.
That era, yes.
What's with the sass today?
I don't know, I'm really feeling it.
I'm feeling it. Ross gave me a maybe, which I will take as gold. That he will be here promptly. I encourage
so
everybody.
sad when he doesn't show up.
I encourage everybody to angrily text him until he arrives. That being said, it is a Distracted Gamers podcast. We're in episode 88 of all things, is where screaming towards the hallow of the weenie.
All Hallows Ween.
Old weenie, the weenie day. One of the greatest holidays of all time. Silver.
Yeah.
She's here.
Hey, bucko.
I've had a productive week. Let's say that.
So not productive because everything you do is sarcastic.
Because it was only physics.
Oh,
I
that's
get another week of that this coming week, so I'm stoked.
more trains traveling at certain speeds, hitting other trains, and the amount of people that would die in said train accident.
This time with a little bit of evolution sprinkled in and genetics, so thanks for putting that on Halloween, teacher.
I would probably be more into physics if all of the problems involved calculating the amount of injuries of certain disasters.
I wish. No, it's usually stupid though. It's like if you drop a pebble from a however tall building, how fast does it hit the ground?
If you drop a pebble from a 747 and it lands in a schoolyard, what are the odds of a child dying?
There was a Batman problem we had. That was interesting.
Tell me more.
We're actually talking about that as a family at like dinner tonight, because we were saying things like, in math books, the problems are things like if you buy 66 watermelons, and my kids were saying things like, you know, what if they actually did problems that you would use the math in the real world, like, how much does this actually cost per ounce, where, the price is this, there's this many ounces. And so it's much more of a practical application towards your education, rather than you need 55 cakes, and it's like, who needs 55 cakes, really?
Me,
Oh.
I need 55 cakes.
Silver does. The realistic.
Me.
I don't even think the realism of the question is very relevant. The point is the exercise of knowing how to solve the problem.
That's
I'd be
true.
more interested if it had a real world application. Like Batman.
How many punches does it take to go through a silver valve?
Oh. Well, if her mass is blank and the resistance is blank.
Well,
Figure it out.
the problem with that sort of problem is you're going to go through different degrees of resistance.
So many. You have to find the strength of my bones, skin, muscle. Yeah. So complicated.
It's different if I was One Punch Man.
Yeah, physics just goes away.
That's right, they do. Jace has been busy.
Yeah, I finished playing Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, and there's kind of a weird thing happened. So I'm sitting there playing, and I don't usually like to play on the little screen. I like to put it in the dock and see it on the television. So I'm sitting there playing it, and my youngest son comes into the room, and he looks he looks at me, and he's the thought goes through his head, oh, Dad's playing on the TV. That means I can play the Nintendo. And so he goes over and just yanks the Nintendo out of the dock while I'm playing it. And we all look at him for a second, and he's like, oh, that was dumb, and puts it back in.
I'm kind of 50-50 on the Switch, if I'm being honest.
50-50 in...
Well, whether it's docked or
regard?
not, because it depends on what room I'm in.
I guess that's true.
Like, if I'm laying
I
in
like to
bed,
have the bigger screen.
I'll use the handheld, but if I'm in the rumpus room, I'll put it on the TV.
Uh-huh. I mean, that makes sense. But one of the things about Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, he gets the ability to inhale things that, other than just enemies. So you have these... the first time it happens, you inhale a car, and you drive around as Kirby in a car, as attached to a car. And the final battle with the last boss, you run him over with a semi.
So you don't become Optimus Kirby? Is that what you're saying?
That would have been awesome. That would have been so cool. No, you just inhale this. You just inhale the semi and then run over the bad guy with it.
Missed opportunity.
That was a missed opportunity. Yes, it was.
I'm sad.
I want to say this reminds me of an Indian movie where somebody turns into a cat and mauls a lady. No, this is Japanese. Someone turns into a cat and mauls a lady, and then in order to fight the cat, somebody gets inside a semi and tries to run it over. Which is the efficient way of fighting a cat, I would say.
I'll admit that feels like an Indian movie.
Yeah, I think it was like a...
Or Japanese, one or the other. It could be either one.
It was like a Power Rangers kind of situation. Strangely enough, the conclusion in the Power Rangers movie was to get into a semi and try and run over a cat. They had a Power
the
Rangers type
Kirby game.
movie where there was a little mustache man monster that they fought.
Oh, interesting.
That actually reminds me. I watched both the Iron Sky movies. I watched the second one this week. And I love them. They are so over the top.
Yahtzees in space.
Uh-huh. And then in the second one, it turns out the little mustache man was a lizard man from inside the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Nice.
They're just so ridiculous and fun.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the point of the films, is sort of a B movie,
Yeah.
over the top sort of thing.
With
Yeah,
a
well,
large budget.
is that special time of year. And not to bury the conversation, but the only important thing to talk about is the fact that I have been obsessed with trying to understand how incorrect the Shrek musical is to the movie.
I still need to watch that.
Of course.
Well, look, here's my problem. The Shrek musical has, the premise is all wrong, and it gets it all wrong because the movie. Silver, what would you say is the theme of the movie?
Probably something like not judging based off looks or something, or lifestyle, or
Yeah, kind of. There's more to somebody than what
Yeah.
you see.
yeah, like that.
Yeah, the play makes it seem like Shrek is oppressed by society.
He kind well
No.
in the
So there's a
No.
literal song in the play where he talks about how if he had a choice, he would become a hero and sail the seas and explore, or he'd become a Viking, or he'd
Okay,
do all
that's
these
just-
other things. But
that's
if it
just
wasn't,
stupid.
if it wasn't for society's expectations of ogres, that you're not supposed to, if you're an ogre, you're supposed to go away and live in a swamp and whatever. Here's the problem. He wanted to live in a swamp and be left alone.
Oh yeah, that was his whole thing.
That was the point of the movie. He wanted to be left alone.
Yeah,
he wasn't aspiring to be a hero. He just did it so that people left him alone. That wasn't the point of the movie.
No. I was going to say there's that one scene right at the beginning of the movie where the villagers come to attack him, and he basically scares them into leaving. And you know they all the fairy tale creatures get dumped in his swamp. But yeah, I mean, he just wanted to be left alone in his swamp because it was his swamp, and it was where he was happy and where he wanted to be.
Yes, that was specifically my point. The play gets
You
it
got
completely
great
wrong.
plan
Oh,
of
well,
scaring those villagers.
it implies that because society expectations that because it spins it onto the, like, Fiona, as well as some of the other characters like Donkey and stuff, and it's like, none of that's true. None of that's true. The whole point is I'm more than
Right.
what you see, and you're judging me based upon information you don't have. And I can't let go that the play got the whole premise completely wrong. And then they tried to spin it into this like weird hippie thing where they have this whole song of like, embrace your weirdness and let your freak flag fly. And it's like this hippie song. And
No.
makes me feel like it's Rent or something. It just, the play is really bad.
It does. So when was the musical created? You know?
No, but it's not based off the book. It's based off the movie because the characters look exactly like the movie. And
Right.
they
No, I was
play
wondering
All Star at the very end of the play.
I was just wondering if it was like the same year that the movie came out, and that would really be egregious
No.
that they got the whole premise wrong, or if it was like written in the last 10 years where it's like, okay, I understand now why you got the whole premise of the movie wrong, because you're all morons now.
No, it's just well after. Whoever wrote it wanted to write a play with their own sort of weird agenda that had nothing to do with the
Yeah.
movie whatsoever. And yeah, this is what I occupy my time with, how the Shrek musical got it wrong. Despite that, we have an enormous amount of things to talk about, and hopefully everybody has lambasted Ross because I wanted Ross to weigh in on today. But he's not. He's not here. So let me awkwardly delay. If anyone's been, so there's been a lot of news this week, and there's been plenty of stuff to talk about that's been worth talking about. But as far as I'm concerned, the big thing to discuss this week has been, well, what's happening with Xbox. And for some reason, this window won't open. So everybody's going to awkwardly... There.
Don't you just love it when technology cooperates so well?
Well, it's not just cooperate. It's like every time I do anything on Streamlabs, it resets. So it doesn't keep the previous setting.
Right.
And so it's like I have to redo it every time. And then sometimes it does keep the previous setting. And I get really confused as to why that's the case. Sweet. So a lot has been happening with Xbox, and I would like to walk through sort of a series of events, if you bear with me. Despite the raising of price of the console from what originally 500 to 650 now, and then raising the price of Game Pass by like 50%.
Yeah.
They've also raised the price of the dev kits from $1,500 to $2,000, which is a weird indicator that things are going really well in Xbox land.
Yeah.
They're acting like the company's going out of business. This is what they're acting like. Raising the price of the dev kits is baffling, seeing as how $1,500 to $2,000 doesn't seem like that big a leap if you're a developer. Like how many developers are actually out there, and how much money are they really going to be earning from the extra $500?
Not, I wouldn't expect a lot, but in those like especially in those like indie studios, that's a huge chunk of change.
Well, yeah, but you're not talking about a huge amount of indie studios buying the dev kits.
That's true.
I mean, there can't be thousands and thousands of them that the increase in price will make a difference. What are they going to earn? A few more $1,000 off of these dev kits?
No,
this sounds like they're
should,
going through desperation mode at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it really should be. In my mind, some of this should be based on volume. So if you sell past a certain volume, if you sell under a certain volume, then the dev kit's free. If you sell over a certain volume, then we start charging you a little bit for it. And the more you sell, the more you're going to be in for this, because that would encourage people to make games and release them on the Xbox. And as they got more popular and things, then then you would start charging them a little bit of money, as opposed to the way you're doing it, which is we're going to charge you $2,000, and anybody that can't afford that, yeah, we don't care.
Well, I don't know how you'd manage that, because you'd have to treat it like they're renting it or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
And wrap them into some strange contract. It would be weird, because they would probably be conducting business different than pretty much every other. Regardless, the point being that, once again, we have another indication that Xbox is raising prices of things because apparently they have a going out of business sale, and things are going poorly. And we've had weird indications from executives across the board making strange comments like, exclusive games are antiquated.
Okay.
The idea of exclusive games in 2025 is antiquated, according to Xbox President Sarah Bond. She said in a new interview that people are beginning to evolve way past the idea that a game should be exclusive to one store or device. The biggest games in the world are available everywhere. You look at Call of Duty, you look at Minecraft, you look at Fortnite, you look at Roblox. That's actually what's really driving community in gaming. That's where people gather, and the idea of locking it into one store or one device is antiquated for most people. No, I don't think it's... Look, low be it for me to defend a large multi-billion dollar corporation. But it seems to be that she doesn't understand the point of exclusive. Exclusive justifies the purchase of your console. That's why exclusives exist on PlayStation. That's why you could only buy God of War on PlayStation. Believe it or not, God of War sells very well. That's not antiquated.
Yeah,
that's simply the justification for buying the console. If you can get every game on every console, why buy your console? This is a statement by somebody who's like, it doesn't matter what console you buy it from, especially if ours goes out of business and we no longer have our console around. You could buy our stuff everywhere. At no point is PlayStation going, yeah, exclusives don't matter. Get God of War on Xbox. Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not. The reason why they keep God of War closely held to their chest is because God of War is a valuable IP that everybody wants to play. That's why you buy a PlayStation. I bought a PlayStation specifically so I could play the new Final Fantasies. Like, period. If it wasn't for that, if they just came out day one on Xbox, I wouldn't have bought a PlayStation. Believe it or not, that's why you buy the console. I don't know what antiquated you're talking about. That antiquated what? Like, as a consumer, I would like it if I could get everything I want at all of the places all of the time. But then that means we get one homogenous console that costs a stupid amount of money and they set the prices and there's no competition. I want you to compete for my money. It keeps prices down. Believe it or not, if games went up in price in congruence with inflation, they'd be a lot more money. I don't want games to be a lot more money. I want them to stay low, and I want consoles to stay low. Believe it or not, the Xbox would be worth a lot more money. It costs a lot more money if it was charged according to the hardware. But it's not charged according to the hardware because you have to stay competitive. And they know when they go through research that the Xbox can only charge so much because that's what people are willing to pay. No one's willing to pay $1,000, $2,000 plus, because that's too much. They know that people aren't willing to pay more for games. And that's why they've only recently started to go up. Could games cost more? Sure. If they went up with inflation, the reason why they've stayed the same price is because people aren't willing to pay more money. Antiquated my eye. Saying stuff like this makes me think you're the worst person to be the Xbox president because you're supposed to be defending your brand. You're supposed to encourage people to come to your platform. Why would people buy an Xbox if you can get everything on the other console?
I wonder if, because this is Microsoft, and Microsoft doesn't just have the option to put games on the Xbox, they have the option to put games on Windows PCs, that's why he's thinking of it in this way, because there's a lot of console exclusive... There's a lot of console exclusives that start out, for instance, Spider-Man or God of War, that start out on one console and then come over to PC. They don't make it all the way to Xbox, but if I want to play that game, I just wait for it to come out on PC, and then I could buy it on and play it on PC. I don't have to do the console thing anymore. I can just be patient and wait for it to come out on a computer as opposed to on a console. I'm not saying that I agree. I'm saying that yes, we should have competition among the consoles and among the video game makers. That's going to keep the price down, which is what we all want as consumers. We want the price to be low, but I can see them thinking in this way because they basically have two ways to get people to buy and play games, whereas Sony doesn't.
A lot of the Sony games are going to Steam.
Right. But the thing is that those games aren't necessarily making Sony money. They're
Yeah,
making
Sony
the
owns God of War.
right. I'm not so, but they don't necessarily own what's the studio that did Spider-Man?
They do own that.
Oh, they do? Oh,
Yeah.
never mind then.
I mean, they do. It's just it doesn't cross to the competitor. It's like you're not going to see God of War on Nintendo.
Right.
Just like you're not going to see Zelda on Xbox. Now,
Right.
now that would be awesome as a consumer. I can get Zelda
Right.
on the more powerful console that I already own. We've had this conversation before, but I find myself baffled when people show up on the internet and go, "Well, I want everything to work the way I want it to for me exclusively." And it's like they don't understand rationally why things don't work that way. It's like, well, why can't Nintendo just release Mario on PlayStation? And it's like, because it doesn't there's no value for them to release it on PlayStation. Well, they get more sales. No, they want to sell consoles. That's what they want to do. They don't want to sell Mario on PlayStation so that thousands more get it. Because the point is, they know you're going to buy the Switch so you can play Mario. Like that's
Right.
why.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not, and the exclusive Nintendo stuff doesn't make it to Steam. Like they don't.
Right. No, yeah, Nintendo is much too controlling of their IPs to let anything like that happen.
And when it comes to the big multiplayer games, here, let me read this quote. You want to be able to play with your friends anywhere, regardless of what they're on. And we're really leaning into that with this experience. It just with the ROG Ally X. It just opens up another way for you to play, as does cloud, as does PC, as do the consoles we all have in the living room. Well, you're thinking in a multiplayer game way where you're going to get a lot of ancillary purchases from DLC and loot boxes and whatever, and you want to be able to connect. See, the biggest problem with multiplayer, which everybody seems to forget, is multiplayer games have a lifespan.
Yeah,
And a lot of the problem with the lifespan is so there are multiple issues that run in with multiplayer games. One is, where is everybody playing it? If it's for most of gaming history, things weren't cross-platform. So if you got Call of Duty on the Xbox, that's where you played Call of Duty. And it could die on Xbox before it died on PlayStation. And the community was still sort of rigorous on PlayStation. And so you would have these disparate communities trying to hold on or trying to keep gaming going with that multiplayer platform. Now, when it came to cross-gen, now it was a lot harder for games to die simply because of slow interest bleed. Another issue with multiplayer games is they're very popular at the beginning, but as the lifespan goes on, it becomes the people who are really good at it get so good at it that it's no longer fun to play with them anymore.
Fun for anybody else.
And that new players get discouraged by entering the game. That's an issue that's existed for a long time. Like your Overwatches, that's why they had to be really aggressive with sort of matchmaking you with people who are on your skill level, because it's not fun to play with people who are really, really good. One of the biggest problems I find when you get into multiplayer games a lot later in their lifespan is I just end up being like part of some guy's KD ratio. It's like the couple guys that are really
Right.
good, and then I'm just boosting his stats by getting murdered all of the time. And that's not fun to play. Now you might go, oh, get good. And it's like, look, if you're one of the best guys in a multiplayer match, that's fun for you. That's not fun for me. And that discourages me from entering that game because I'm not having fun. And I'm not going to enter a game so that you can have fun killing me. That's not how this works.
How are you going to get good if every time you go into a match, you just die right away?
Well, precisely. And
There's
so
no way to get good at that point if you don't have somebody your skill level, or maybe just a little bit tougher, so you can, practice and get better as you go over time. If you're always going up against the big boys, you're dead. You're toast every time.
right. And so I understand why Sarah here is talking about this in terms of playing anywhere you want to with your friends, because she's seeing things in terms of multiplayer. I'm not really a multiplayer gamer. I'm just not.
Right.
I'll play co-op with people. With Silver, we play constantly. But honestly, I really don't care. And they want to push multiplayer because that's where they get extra money from the loot boxes and the skins and the DLC and the blah, 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 blah. I understand that's where the buzzwords are. That's where they get repeat purchases. That's where they get more money. But that's not where you're getting my money. And so if they're going to, if Xbox is going to structure their entire platform based around the fact that you can play COD with everybody, then okay. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. Yeah, I get it. People want to be able to play with their friends all the time. You don't always get what you want, I guess. I'm driven by single player experiences, but this strategy seems short-sighted, needless to say. Who am I? I'm not Sarah, head of Xbox or whatever. But I guess we're going to move on to more confusing information coming out of Xbox as I click off of the wrong one. A former Microsoft executive warns that next-gen Xbox console is a mistake. Oh. A former Microsoft executive has issued a dire warning about the next-gen Xbox consoles, according to ex-Blizzard president Mike Ybarra. Microsoft is making a huge mistake with its future Xbox plans. According to Ybarra, Microsoft should not be making new hardware and should instead focus on being a third-party game publisher. Only a moron,
to a certain extent.
Only a moron would continue to make console hardware when the games all go or will go to third party. To shift, they'd have to go back to exclusives, make great hardware at a loss, and strive to win the living room. That's not their strategy, which is fine. But for some reason, they just keep riding the middle, not being clear, doing more harm for no reason. That's a fair point.
Yeah, I was going to say. That is a fair assessment of the situation. If they're probably not making a lot of money off of consoles and things, and so it's much more likely for them to make money if they concentrate on making games as opposed to anything else.
Well, his point being, they're not trying to make exclusives and they're not trying to win the living room. They're trying to focus on this weird, like, mixed strategy where we're going to be on all platforms and multiplayer. And it's like, if you're going to act like that, then why have another console? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just turn into Sega and be a third-party game publisher. That's not an unfair assessment, honestly. However, things get more confusing. As we go down the rabbit hole, apparently Microsoft executives have been expecting the Xbox division to achieve a 30% profit margin, almost double the industry average since 2023. Microsoft's last 2 years have been marked by the layoffs of more than 10,000 workers, repeated development studio closures, countless game cancellations, a relentless series of bloodletting and downsizing, made only more dire by the preceding consolidation campaign that saw swaths of the gaming industry brought under the corporation's gaming division. I think the purchases in total that Microsoft did of a bunch of other studios, bringing them under heel, comes around to like $70 billion.
Ooh.
And if they're not selling to justify that purchase, it could become a problem. But thanks to new reporting from Bloomberg, we now have a clear idea of the motivation for Microsoft's current gaming strategy. If it can be called that, according to sources familiar with the business, Microsoft executives have been pressuring Xbox division to achieve profit margins well in excess of industry average. Bloomberg reports that in the fall of 2023, Microsoft Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood introduced a new target strategy of 30%, according to accountability margins, Microsoft's corporate euphemism of choice for profit margins for the gaming division. In comparison, that profit margin in games industry has fallen from a recent high of 22% during the COVID lockdown to 17%. It sounds like somebody made a strategy to beat COVID margins. Why does every industry seem to conduct itself like COVID was going to go on forever?
Yeah.
Streaming had this problem. Dungeons and Dragons had this problem. Dungeons and Dragons has been like people playing role-playing games has hemorrhaged players. Why? Because they haven't maintained COVID levels. Streaming has been hemorrhaging people. Why? Because no one's locked in their house anymore.
Nope.
Once again, a vision that seems to be strange and short-sighted. Which brings us to the headline of the week. To shock and awe and baffling news, everybody is surprised to find out that, yes, Halo will be coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, I saw that.
Remaking a classic video game with modern technology to reach nostalgia and new audiences become commonplace. Blah, blah, blah. They are going to do a Halo remake and bring it to PlayStation 5. This is like Mario showing up on Xbox. It shocked everybody. But if you're a company that's desperate for money and is having a wholesale out of business sale, then that seems like something you would do. I mean, if Xbox has anything exclusive, it's Halo. Yeah. I mean, this shattered the internet for a time.
I mean, this does seem to fall in line with that philosophy of, that exclusives are the old way of doing things. We can make a ton of money if we release on every single platform. And it does feel like Xbox is basically saying, you know what? Microsoft is saying Xbox is dead. We're not going to do a new Xbox. We're going to go into the business of publishing.
But they are making a new Xbox.
But will they keep making new Xboxes?
I don't know, but they are making a new one. They've already released information as to what the new Xbox is going to look like. They're adding some AI chip or something to it. So giving away your exclusive prize in Halo, look, Halo hasn't been great for a while, which is why I wanted Ross to be here, because Ross cares a lot about Halo. Infinite didn't do super well. It just didn't. And every time they count with a Halo in the last while, it's been either mediocre to somewhat of a failure in people's eyes. And the problem is, you have to look, when it comes to your exclusives, your brand headliner, the console selling game, you must make that game a banger. And coming out with mediocre to poor reception games is not going to sell your console. And it seems like design decisions this past generation have been insanely poor. And you go, Rhett, there have been really good games. Tell me exclusive games on either console that have actually been very good.
I would say
this
none.
gen.
Yeah. There really hasn't been a reason, any game that's come out recently that to me has said, you must purchase the next Xbox or the next PlayStation. There really hasn't been anything.
Well, there happened for me.
I was going to say that goes for Switch for me as well. There really hasn't been anything that said, oh, you need to buy the Switch 2.
Well, I'm talking about this gen right now. What exclusives came out on the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox Series X that sold it for you, that justified the console's existence?
I can't think of anything.
God of War sold really well, despite the fact that I don't like the direction God of War has gone, and I've never been a big God of War fan, but that has been a big seller. Spider-Man 2 was supposed to be a big banger that ever brought, but Spider-Man 2 was ass. It just was.
The thing for me is that I've never, like you said, you weren't a real big God of War fan. I've never been a God of War fan. I've never played it. It has been on the periphery of, oh, that might be nice to play, but it hasn't ever been, ooh, you need to go play this. For me at least. I know that for a lot of people, yes, that has been the driving force for them. I'm just saying that for me, I can't think
well,
of anything
that's fine, Jason, but you aren't the one that's making PlayStation successful. So I'm talking about the games,
no, I'm not.
The exclusive games that are selling consoles.
Have the console sales this gen been all that strong?
PlayStation 5. I have a article. I suppose I could bring it up now. Let me put this under. But the PlayStation 5 has sold fairly well, and has finally surpassed the PlayStation 3.
Wow. But how long? It took them less than 5 years. You would have thought that they would have sold out faster.
Well, it's not going to beat the PS2. And the problem with the PlayStation 5 is it's selling well because the Xbox is stumbling and falling on its face constantly. They don't really... Right. People seem to not be spending money with the intention that there's an alternative to PlayStation. They either everybody buys a Switch and then they might buy a PlayStation. Most people aren't moving Xbox. Right. But as far as exclusives, I mean, the only exclusives that made me buy the PlayStation 5, which justified it for me, was Final Fantasy 16 and Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth. That was it. That's why I bought a PlayStation 5. Now, there have been other games that I've played on it, but not really exclusives that justified it for me. And those games have sold mediocre, well, under expectations as far as Square Enix was concerned. And the games that have really sold consoles for them was probably God of War, but not really Spider-Man 2, and the bajillion remakes of Last of Us.
Very true on that one, yeah.
And Last of Us 2 didn't sell super well compared to the first one. And you might go, right. No, it's so well. It is sold abysmally compared to the first one. And if it sold at all, it was on the coattails of the first one. Now, you could still like it, but the numbers disagree with you that it was well received, because it wasn't. And what was supposed to be the big seller this gen for Xbox? What, Halo Infinite?
Hmm.
They didn't sell.
Yeah, probably.
Starfield, it sucked. I mean, what else is there for Xbox exclusives that stand out to anybody that justify the purchase of the console? Nothing.
I can't think of anything.
And most of the justification for
There's
buying
that.
a console is because your friends play it. But the problem is,
Yeah.
I buy all of
Well,
the
anymore,
consoles, so it's
that
kind
seems
of
to be the case.
well. I mean, for my point, but I was going to buy the Xbox anyway.
Right.
Now, I tried to get us to move to PlayStation, but Jason wanted the backwards compatibility or whatever, which doesn't make sense because I guess if you're going to throw your other console out the window. Oh, you kept it? Well, then backwards compatibility wasn't that big a deal. And Xbox looks like it may be dying. I mean, a lot of people are predicting rest in peace Xbox, which seems to be the headliner across Twitter and YouTube. This doesn't necessarily mean that Xbox is dead, but it does not look good. I mean, to tell you the weird attitude people have about Xbox, a rumor hit the internet that spread like wildfire that people thought that Xboxes were being pulled from grocery stores because Target changed its layout of its Xbox stuff. It wasn't true, but the fact that people think it might be means that there's a bad perception of how Xbox is doing. And when people are fleeing Game Pass, which is supposed to be the justification. I mean, if there's any justification for owning an Xbox, it's because Game Pass was really good. But PlayStation Plus is also really good. So is there any exclusives you get out of Game Pass? Yeah, I mean, the exclusives that existed on Xbox before. That were previous gen versions that you could play on your Game Pass. But now it's a lot more expensive. And according to, I mean, we don't have concrete numbers, but the searches of how to cancel Game Pass have increased dramatically. And apparently the Xbox website has been having problems because of volume of people supposedly trying to cancel Game Pass.
Wow.
Does that sound like a good decision of somebody who's trying to be competitive with Sony? And in a weird turn of events, Sony is doing fine. Now, to tell you why this is strange is Microsoft has near exhaustible pockets, but they seem to be determined that Xbox has to turn a massive profit for some reason. And it doesn't seem to have been doing super well. Microsoft for a long time seems to have been willing to spend into a hole to make Xbox successful.
That's true.
Sony can't afford to do that. PlayStation is the only thing Sony is doing that is super net positive. And you might go, whoa, what are you talking about? It's like all of the other stuff Sony does is not doing super well. PlayStation is. If anything, PlayStation's propping up the rest of Sony. The freaking TVs and all the other stuff. I mean, just Sony's just been on the down turn, except for PlayStation. But despite PlayStation's success, I can't say that PlayStation games are really anything of a banger. Not this gen. I mean, think of what happened, what came out last gen compared to this one. I mean, think of 360 era compared to this gen. The games were just better. And it's been a downhill since then. Well, it makes me wonder what on earth has been going on. People lack the capacity to make games anymore?
I think there is a certain amount of truth in that. It does seem to me that games just are a abysmally poor. They really haven't been turning out anything that has really, and maybe some of that has to do with the way that games are written now. I don't know. It just really seems that they don't anymore know what they're doing.
What do you mean writing?
Well, I mean the story behind the games and
Writing is
the
not
fact
always relevant when it comes to video games. Unless that's what you're looking for.
that the games should have a semblance of a story.
Okay, what's the plot of Pac-Man?
You go through the maze and you eat ghosts.
That's a plot? What's the story arc? Who's the protagonist?
Pac-Man is the protagonist.
What's his mission? To save the world from ghosts? Did you glean
To
that
save
from the deep plot and lore of Pac-Man?
Oh yeah.
Who's the hero of Tetris?
You.
Some
You
Russian
are.
dude.
I am the hero of Tetris. Tetris is an analogy of saving Russia from communism or something. I mean, it's a puzzle game. Not every game has to have a story, Jason. What you're doing is you're projecting what your expectations of gaming should be.
But the thing is that they do, when they're creating a game, they do conceive of the how do they term that now? The gaming loop or whatever it is, where you get you do something, you get feedback, and you continue on. I mean, sometimes that is really condensed, where with Tetris, the gaming feedback loop is basically you drop the shapes, you try to make a line, you get rewarded for that line, and it can make for compelling gameplay. Whereas there just seems to be the fact that anybody who is involved with gaming these days, if they don't have a political bent, they're not allowed to make games.
I don't think it's politics that has been destroying the gaming industry. Of course, it has destroyed some games. It seems like the focus on a lot of games seems to not make a good game or not make it fun, but to give it a message. Right. But I don't think politics is necessarily the reason why gaming's gotten worse. I mean, look at this. I pulled up a list for 2004. All right. Half-Life 2, Doom 3, KOTOR 2, Thief, Deadly Shadows, Unreal Tournament 2004, GTA San Andreas, Paper Mario, MGS3, Prince of Persia Warrior Within, Metroid, Legend of Zelda Minish Cap, Pokemon Fire, Mega Man 03, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Metroid Prime 2, Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow, Far Cry, Halo 2, Ninja Gaiden, Need for Speed Underground, World of Warcraft, Dragon Quest VIII, Counter-Strike, Resident Evil Outbreak, Fable, Siberia 2, Outrun, Jack 3, Cave Story Tribes, Tony Hawk Underground 2. I mean, good Lord, Jason. Could you say that at all about any year of this current gen? That you could just go down a list of just bangers. World-destroying games. Like, one of those games would have been enough. For 1 year. Does anything currently stand up to anything that's coming? Any of the games on that list?
No, that's what. And that's kind of one of those things where
Fear came out in 2004.
Yeah.
Silver, what do you think?
Well, I have my cat destroying everything at the moment, so one sec.
How about 1998? Ocarina of Time, Half-Life, Fallout 2, Banjo-Kazooie, StarCraft, Baldur's Gate, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 2, Sonic Adventure, Parasite Eve, Turok 2, Rogue Squadron, in my opinion, 1998 is the greatest year in gaming. But
Oh yeah.
we had a South Park game, Tenchu, Medieval, Oddworld, King of Fighters 98, Tomb Raider 3, Pokemon Yellow, Spyro the Dragon. Oh my gosh. Street Fighter Alpha 3, considered probably
Probably the best Street Fighter.
the best
ever.
Street Fighter game. Yeah. Twisted Metal 3. Bomberman World. StarCraft came out that year.
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid in 98. Metal Gear Solid. Xenogears. We had a Crash Bandicoot. Star Wars Rebellion. I mean, that only matters to me, but Star Wars Rebellion. I'm a big fan of that game. What came out this year? Can you name anything that stood out? Either of you? What came out in
That stood out?
2025?
No, that came out, sure. Or let me rephrase
Lies of
that.
PDLC. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
There have been a couple of things that have been released this year that have stood out this year, but for completely the wrong reason. Like Dragon Age: The Veilguard, Borderlands 4. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones we've talked about that have come out this year that basically just were garbage or
Let's see, Ghost
released
of
to
Yotei.
such
Go see
poor
Yotei.
reception or had Ghost of Yotei that had huge problems with their initial release. I mean, from what I've been hearing, Borderlands isn't bad if you can get it to run right.
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Creed. Yeah.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Wait,
There's
I know a good one.
Oh.
I know a good one.
Oh.
Silk Song. A good one.
Well, that came out
Okay,
like a week
yeah.
or two ago, and that's more of a it's very popular, but you got to like that kind of game. But that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But
It's like,
Tony
I can
Hawk
think
Pro
of-
Skater 3 and 4.
well, those were
I can think of more
re-releases.
things
Ah,
that have
but
come out
still.
this year that have come out to negative fanfare as opposed to the ones that came out to positive fanfare.
Doom: The Dark Ages.
Oh,
Metal Gear
Blueprints
Solid
went-
Delta. Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good.
People went nuts for Blueprints.
Yeah. South of Midnight. No. Expedition 33. I think Expedition 33 is the only real standout on this one. Metal Gear Solid Delta was good.
Wu Chang, Fallen Feather.
Yeah. Avowed. Nah. Avowed was bad. Battlefield 6?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of standout. Haven't played the new Vampire Masquerade. I've heard mixed to bad.
Night Rain.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it. We got Atom Fall. I mean, Atom Fall was good, but it wasn't amazing or justifying purchasing a console.
We got a Ninja Gaiden.
We did get a Ninja Gaiden just like this last week. It's okay. It's not
Cool.
amazing. Yeah. I mean, Final Fantasy Tactics, a game that, I mean, the standouts for me, Final Fantasy Tactics and Metal Gear Solid Delta are games that already came out and are just remastered.
Yeah, they made some improvements, so you feel better playing them this time around.
Yeah.
But it's like they learned from the weaknesses of the previous iteration of the game, and they addressed those weaknesses. But the core gameplay, the core story, was already there.
Let's good lord, Halo. And The Master Chief being cucked has now been the joke of the internet. Here, Master Chief is watching Cortana make out with Kratos. Here's Xbox enjoying watching his girlfriend make out with PlayStation. Because Xbox is like, yes, this makes me happy. Here's Xbox while PlayStation makes with here's Master Chief while PlayStation makes out with Cortana in the background. Destiny. This is a good sign for PlayStation. Things are going really well in this regard. Which brings up the speculation. Is Xbox just surrendering the console war? Halo's on PlayStation, and it doesn't seem real that is happening. By the way, this game is not Combat Evolved. It's called Campaign Evolved. And it's not a remaster. It is a remake. It is a remake.
Okay.
Now, it will release on Xbox as well as PlayStation. But the fact that it's coming to PlayStation All is baffling.
Unless you take into account the viewpoint of the president of Microsoft or Xbox or whoever it was, that basically saying it's antiquated.
I mean, if you don't care about selling hardware, and if you've given up the fact that your hardware is not going to outsell PlayStation, yes.
Yep.
It's antiquated because you've given up on being able to sell more Xboxes. And guess what? I like Xbox. I prefer my Xbox over my PlayStation. I hate the look of the PlayStation 5. Hate it. Of all of the consoles I've ever had, I was the most disgusted by my PlayStation 5. Gross. Gosh, it's such an ugly looking console. But it's like, what are you going to do? I like the Xbox. I like the hardware. I like how it runs. I like the save state thing. I like the interface. PlayStation's winning, though. I mean, regardless of what I like, I am not the trendsetter. And it looks like not only has Microsoft lost this console war, but maybe they're just giving up the console war forever.
Yeah, I mean, that does feel like it.
If her argument was true, why isn't PlayStation doing it? Why isn't
PlayStation figures they've won?
Well, they don't need to.
Because they're fine.
Why isn't the Switch putting Mario on Xbox? If exclusives don't matter and it's antiquated.
They're also doing fine.
Because they're doing fine. Because they don't need to. Because they're doing fine. Oh, boy. Well, you thoughts on the state of Xbox?
Rest in peace. We will miss you.
I mean, we're moving towards a huge transition globally in many ways. AI, video games, movies. I mean, look at it this way. AI will change everything about the workforce. For good or ill. And a lot of people are viewing AI in this weird utopian way. And it's like, it's going to destroy a lot of jobs. I saw this thing of this professor who does like detailed research, and he was proud of the fact that he went from a 30-man team to like 5, and he thinks he could reduce it again because of AI.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, a lot of white-collar jobs are going to go away because of AI. And think of the effect it's having on art. You could spend years and years developing your ability to create art, CGI, hand drawn, gone. I mean, even novels can be written better by AI. If you're a coder, right now, you're fine. Maybe not 5-10 years from now.
I'll tell you now how useful AI has been in the class I have to do a lot of coding with. It gets it accurate every time now, and it works.
See, it's better.
It just tells you. It is amazing.
It will get better and better and better. Look at how devastating Sora 2 was in the last 2 weeks. We went from kind of janky AI video to it's almost perfect.
To where it's like, oh, is that real? Or is that AI? I can't tell.
Yes. I mean, a lot of the time, I'm just going to have to watch it and from context realize it's not real because I know that the Queen of England didn't jump off the top rope in a WWE match.
Yeah.
But it looks real. And you're just going to have to accept the fact that it's, it's probably not based upon context. Like, they might have to force a filter on everything that comes out because it's too realistic now. I saw an article where somebody showed somebody else a video of Donald Trump singing in Chinese, and their grandma cried. And it's like, he didn't actually sing in Chinese, Grandma. It's just, he didn't do that.
What? You gotta be kidding.
And it's changing everything. Everything. There are realistic versions of Pixar movies coming out, but I know it's not real because Pixar would never make a movie about a Down syndrome cop. But the internet would, because the internet is going to do everything it can to make everything inappropriate. And it went from kind of realistic to it's over, man. It's over. It looks so good now. There's nothing you can do about it, and it's only going to get better. You think you could control this?
You can try.
I mean, movies. Dying industry. What's it going to look like from now? Like the theater part of movies? Like, who knows if the theaters are going to stick around? They probably will in some niche market where people feel like they need to see stuff in theaters. Everything's going to streaming. What are movies going to look like? Every industry is on the chopping block. Every single one. Consoles may not survive. And if they do, they're going to look weird and different. You're going to have everything on the cloud or streaming, and you won't own physical copies. And it's going to suck. It's going to suck balls because your rights as a consumer to physically own what you buy is going to go out the window. And you might go, oh, well, that doesn't matter because, you'll always be able to get on the cloud. Will you? Funimation was bought out by Crunchyroll, and movies you purchased that were registered on Funimation no longer exist.
Yep.
There are movies people purchased on Amazon that they just removed because they lost license or whatever. And it's like, what do you mean? I bought the movie. Well, we can't distribute it anymore. What are you talking about? I purchased this film.
It already belongs to me. Who cares if we can't distribute it anymore?
You will own nothing and you'll like it. And now we have to second guess what's real or not. I mean, I guarantee you there will be ridiculous videos that come out of things like Donald Trump saying something, and people will be like, well, Donald Trump said that, and he never did.
Well, Donald Trump has already released videos of the Democrats in sombreros that really got them up in arms.
Well, we've already been struggling with what's real or not before this, with people selectively editing videos. And these were already well-established large news corporations. Now how are you going to control somebody making a really crappy Sora 2 video and releasing it online? And then you have millions of people liking it, assuming that information is accurate. It's like, no, I really thought Nancy Pelosi went around and started punching black people. How are you supposed to know anymore? Gaming industry's going out the window. I can't predict what gaming's going to look like years from now, but I can tell you it's not going to be what it is now.
Very true.
5-10 years from now, 5-10 years from now, you won't recognize your own country. Jobs will be dramatically different. Gaming, media, everything is going to change. It's a brave new world. And I don't know if people are ready for what's coming. I really don't. It's the end of the world as we know it.
It's not fine.
You want to know something that'll creep you out for the spooky year, for the spooky time of year, Silver?
Sure.
AI has done things like when there's an expected update that the previous version has tried to move to another server to preserve itself.
That's no good.
It has even written notes in its own programming for itself later down the road.
Oh. Kill it.
I mean, we're going to lose control real quick.
Wait till ChatGPT runs for president.
Well, and they've already had the problem of racism with AI because AI lacks the capacity to sort of, like, there was one AI that for some reason got fixated on one person on Twitter and kept trying to convince him to off himself. Kept trying to tell him to do it.
Scary.
It was weird. It was like, oh, I'm sorry you're feeling bad. Have you considered using a rope? Do you have a rope in your house? Would you like me to tell you how to tie the rope?
You want an Amazon link to a rope?
This was happening.
My gosh.
People keep teaching AI to be racist. They did this study with it has something to do with one of the prominent AIs where for some reason it was giving status ratings based upon preference to certain races.
Interesting.
And you could ask it questions like what would it preserve this race over this race if you wanted to save one or another, and then they were essentially able to judge that like white men were at the bottom, the least desired to preserve, and the most desirable to preserve was at like brown or whatever was near the top that you must protect. Islam was considered one of the most, it must be protected more than any other religion. And this is ingrained in the programming.
Well,
because it's reflective of the political. Well, it's reflective of the political and religious bias of not just the programmers, but of the internet. Because the internet's not an accurate representation of the populace at large. It just isn't. I mean, go on Reddit. You think the world is like Reddit? Go on Twitter. Twitter's not like that. But the world's not like Twitter. Twitter is the exaggerated, ridiculous form of humanity. Humanity doesn't act like Twitter. And the AI is using this to judge how it should act. I mean, they first started doing sort of an AI-ish sort of program on Twitter back before Elon Musk bought it. And the internet taught it to be racist.
Yep.
And they had to take it down. They did.
It was quick.
It was very fast. Immediately they started to, it was like old Mr. Tiny Mustache did nothing wrong sort of thing.
Oh my gosh.
It's true. It's true. I am more concerned about what we're going to teach AI to judge things by. Because imagine this. I saw somebody propose this. You have AI running medical stuff where it gives out advice or issues. Let's say you just have an AI do something simple like schedule exams for hospitals. But now you're like, well, what if it has bias? And it'll prefer one race over another to get medical help. Oh, now it's picking who lives or dies.
Oh gosh.
And you're like, well, we would never let AI run stuff, really? Diagnosing with doctors is so poor that all AI has to do is have a higher rate of accuracy than doctors.
Yep.
And then it will replace diagnosis. And people will go, oh, well, this is amazing. It will...
I think that they've already started doing some of that.
Yeah.
And showing that AI has a better...
It has a higher rate of diagnosis, yeah. And it's like, oh, this is amazing. It will free up doctors to blah, blah, blah. And doctors can specialize in things. So it'll do things like diagnosis, and then it'll hand it off to the doctor who will reassess. But what if the AI is assy?
Yeah, it's just a jerk.
What if the AI doesn't like brown people?
What if the AI starts telling you your mental health, whatever going on? It's in your head. Just grow up.
What if the AI is Canadian and you stub your toe and it recommends Minecraft conclusions?
Like euthanasia?
What if that's the conclusion AI has?
Oh no.
Jason's going to get us registered by the YouTube AI by saying inappropriate words.
I'm pretty sure nobody knows what that means.
AI knows.
I think AI knows everything.
Most of the triggering when it comes to YouTube videos getting considered inappropriate or whatever is because AI.
It is now, yeah.
It's not individuals listening to these YouTube videos and then deciding that it's considered inappropriate. It just listens for certain words, which is why you don't say Mr. Mustache his name, despite the fact that that's weird.
I can't wait until we start getting flagged when you tell me to make you a sandwich. I can't wait.
Which is why you don't say Yahtzee, because the AI is listening and it's really upset. Let's I mean, it's not dead yet, but the cancer's terminal and it doesn't look good. Oh, Xbox. Let's move on to the news dump.
The Distracted Gamer Podcast. Big steaming pile of news dump.
Well, everybody, it's the news dump. We're all going to sit outside and poop in the yard. In a fun and interesting turn of events, our first news of the day is the layoffs with was it Massive Games or whatever? Star Wars Studio. So, Star Wars Outlaws that came out that was poorly received.
Yeah.
Well, the studio was told by Ubisoft to start laying people off, and so they started telling their own people to volunteer to be let go. Massive Entertainment. To volunteer to be let go, which is a weird way to phrase it. That we have to let people go, so anybody want to volunteer?
I want the severance package.
Well, and this is the conclusion for a game that does poorly.
Yep.
Hey, if the game did really well, do you think this would be happening?
Absolutely not.
We said it wasn't going well, but who am I to judge? So season 3 of One Punch Man has started to air on Hulu. And apparently, One Punch Man Season 3 director has had so many negative responses and harassment that he's completely deleted his
Really?
Twitter account.
Wow.
Why?
The only thing I can get specifically is people say that the animation looks bad. I've looked at clips. It doesn't look as bad as season 2. But
well, thank goodness.
yeah, because season 2 is terrible. But I haven't started watching it yet. But the internet seems to be reacting the way the internet does, rational and fair, with polite and reasonable feedback. Apparently, Roblox has gotten so bad with child safety that even Iraq has banned Roblox. That's right. Roblox
Wow.
is apparently full of child touchers. United Arab Emirates has temporarily removed Roblox in-game chat feature because they're afraid their kids are going to be harassed by online pervs. You might ask yourself, why are these Middle Eastern countries more concerned about their children's safety? It's not that they're more concerned. There's been a lot of talk in America about the concerns. Roblox themselves has been ignoring people's complaints that Roblox is rampant with pervs, to the point where the FBI has had some investigation to Roblox, but Roblox seems to make zero to no effort to do anything about it.
I mean, it kind of makes sense that could be an issue because obviously Roblox is targeted towards younger gamers. So you'd think that they would take that really seriously.
They don't. Tron Ares looks like, according to Deadline, is set to lose $132 million. I would expect it's probably more.
Yeah.
But this is a heavy indication that movie did not do well.
Is this the Morbin curse? Is that
We need to meme it so hard that they try and re-release it and then it just does bad again. A little bit of follow-up to last week's news. Yes, if you recall, Emaru was assaulted at Twitch. And
Yep,
Twitch
I remember that.
treated it so poorly that they made almost no effort to do anything and then did a token 30-day ban of the individual until Emaru complained and that he got a permanent ban. But according to Emaru, Twitch initially refused to hand over the name of her assaulter to San Diego police.
Wow.
That is until someone called in with a concerning tip. And Emaru has been pretty upset about this. Once again, Twitch is a horrible company and doesn't care about your safety, and it only cares about the people that make the money.
Yep.
Speaking about layoffs, the Gamer website is subject to massive layoffs, as I think they let go of their entire editorial staff. I think Gamer is a website I've frequented. I don't know much more about its bias or anything. If it shows up with an article that seems pretty good, I'll include it. But moving on, Remedy, a company that has done mediocre to poor with its Alan Wake 2 release, has done extremely poorly with its Firebreak release, apparently issuing a profit warning. Despite their overhaul of trying to make it function better, sales metrics as well as player metrics have not reached Remedy's internal targets. It took forever for Alan Wake 2 to finally become profitable.
No, that's really not a good sign.
A large amount of Hollywood individuals decided that they wanted to protest what was going on in Palestine, and all of them signed a boycott to not work with Israeli companies or do Israeli films or all these other things. And 3,900 actors signed this petition or whatnot. What seems kind of unfocused. Look, saying you won't work with the Israeli government, sure, you disagree with the Israeli government. Saying you won't work with any Israeli company, that seems like it's unfocused bigotry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And apparently
Yeah.
this might run into problems because everybody that signed that are basically complicit in what. So lawyers are filing suits that this basically violates anti-discrimination laws because you can't actually direct boycotts against religions, races, nationalities, that sort of thing. And it's like, I won't work with the Israeli government because I disagree with their politics. Fine. This is, I won't work with Israeli companies, which seems to be like you're just discriminating against Israeli people.
Yeah, this is like you said, this is indiscriminate lashing out at one race as opposed to I don't agree with this company. I don't agree with this governmental decision or department or this like you said, this is indiscriminate rage and lashing out.
Well, I wouldn't say race, I'd say nationality. Because they didn't say
Yeah.
Jews. They said Israeli.
Yeah. Fair point.
Shifting on. Hey, everybody. Because this podcast will actually report all information, whether or not I agree with the game or not, Ghost of Yote's launch was fine. Not amazing, not bad, but fine. Looks like the rumors that everything was doing poorly in the background seem to be mostly rumors. As I clarified last week or the week before, that despite the rumors that they're cutting advertising or that the numbers are really bad in the background, seems like the numbers are okay. I guarantee you the company was hoping that the numbers would be amazing.
Yeah,
but they're okay. So even if I don't like the game, I'm not going to pretend it's doing badly when it's not doing badly. Still not buying that piece of crap. Shifting on. Confusingly, Disney lost 3 million subscribers because of the Jimmy Kimmel stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why people care that much about the Jimmy Kimmel stuff. In Mortal
Maybe they
Kombat,
lost subscribers because they were hoping that Disney would permanently get rid of him.
no, I think it was mostly people upset with how they suspended him. So fine, whatever. So apparently there's accusations that a Mortal Kombat victory art book, flawless victory art book, was using AI for some of its imagery. I don't know. What do you think? The eye seems kind of wanky. This might be an AI image.
It could be, but it could also just be a really poor rendering by some, hard to tell now.
Look forward to more AI usage in everything.
Oh,
Yes.
That's right. It's official. Warner Brothers Discovery is for sale. And Paramount has already made an offer that was rejected. But I expect Paramount's probably the one that's going to purchase it. There's mixed feelings in Hollywood as to what's going to happen with this. Most of Hollywood doesn't want it to be sold to like some streamer like Apple or Netflix. They would prefer it stay within some sort of traditional studio. The problem is, the other concern is that if Paramount buys it, see, look, if Paramount and Warner are separate companies, that means they're making separate projects. if
Right.
Paramount
They're
buys
competing
it,
against each other.
you're going to have a lot less projects available for people in Hollywood because it'll just encompass all of their IP. I think the hope of some is that basically they sell off chunks. I think Zaslav would hope that they sell off chunks like the IPs or HBO or sell off DC separate or whatever. Who knows? I think he wants it to be bought by somebody else, but Paramount seems to be the only real buyer at this point.
The only real company interested at this point.
Yeah, they've already made an offer that was turned down, but we'll have to see where that goes. We had an interesting response. Well, comments made by the director of The Flash, who shockingly blamed fans for why the movie did poorly. Because you know what you do when your movie does bad? You don't self-reflect or try and figure out why. You double down in your weird arrogance and you assume that your movie was amazing and it's the fans' fault.
Yep.
It was good. It's
you
the
just
children.
Didn't understand.
Well, they always come out with the narrative of there was some conspiracy to prevent it from being successful. He made some comment that it's like, well, everybody's dumping on it and these people didn't even see the movie. And it's like, first of all, I'm making fun of you for not doing well. I can't tell you if the movie's good or not because I didn't see it. But I'm not commenting on whether the movie was good because I didn't see it. But I can tell you that I'm going to dump on you because it didn't look good. Why would I see a bad movie?
Because you're a masochist.
All right. So one of the biggest bits of news that has spread across the internet that we might take a little minute to talk about. So apparently there was a plan for an Adam Driver solo movie. And it was nixed by Bob Iger.
Interesting.
And people took that as well as the comments from that Bob Iger nixed the George Lucas treatments for 7, 8, 9, and that he nixed an Adam Driver movie, and decided to spin this into all of the problems with Disney Star Wars was Bob Iger's fault, and we all owe Kathleen Kennedy an apology.
Oh my God.
And that spread across the internet like wildfire of shills trying to claim that Kathleen Kennedy is due an apology, that it was Bob Iger that destroyed everything because he nixed the Adam Driver movie and ignored the George Lucas treatments for it was mostly the Adam Driver movie. Kathleen Kennedy still sucks. Like, both could be true. Like, I don't know why they think she deserves an apology. What, like the movies aren't her fault? She approved The Acolyte.
Yep.
Somehow that's not her fault. She approved the movies we got. That's not her fault. She approved Indiana Jones and the plot to save the evil mustache man. I mean, come on, think about it. That's what happened in the movie. Indiana Jones goes back in time to stop the evil mustache man from being killed. That's the plot of the movie.
Oh my gosh.
Do we all deserve, does she deserve an apology?
Absolutely not.
Oh.
Absolutely not. I mean, okay, if there was a personal attack against her, sure. She deserves an apology for that. If people are lambasting her for approving Dial of Destiny, The Acolyte, the Force Awakens, and all that stuff that came after that, then no, all that stuff was garbage, and she doesn't deserve an apology for people rightly criticizing garbage. Like I said, personal attacks aside, personal attacks, yes, those deserve an apology, but professional decisions made as a president or whatever her role was over at Lucasfilm, those, yes,
Yeah,
those
she was
are
the president.
yeah, making crappy decisions as the president of Lucasfilms. That if you're targeting those, no, absolutely not. She does not deserve an apology for that stuff.
What is this, Jason?
Oh, so apparently, Scott Snyder is got on a podcast to explain what they're doing over at DC. Apparently, DC has gotten a lot of praise and things for the Absolute series, and what they've decided to do is treat the main continuity in the same way. It says so for a long time now, for the last 8 to 9 months, we've been building a line of books that focused on some fan favorite characters. Everybody from Deathstroke to the Demon to Zatanna, characters that don't often get quite the brightest spotlight that's taken up by Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman, but characters that fans love and we love. The thing is that fine, whatever. This is your road to go down. But at the same time, the fans want Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. They're your 3 big characters for a reason. And then you spending all this time and effort to go into these side characters, it's whatever. But the fact that you're focusing on them, I don't know that that's such a great.
They'd be lucky if
Going to
one
give
of
you
these
the
issues.
return on investment you think.
They'd be lucky if one of these
Sorry.
issues end up extending more than a few.
I mean, the thing is that one of them, they were talking about Deathstroke, the Terminator. Let's see, where did that one go? The pitch for Deathstroke was from a creator who said, "I really want to do Deathstroke, and I really want to make Deathstroke just a straight up badass assassin. I wanted to decouple him from all the other superheroes, and do something that shows the world of assassins inside of DC in this really dark and fun and brutal way." We were like, you know what? That sounds great. We don't have a crime book like that. So we were really trying to give you things you don't have, but let creators lead the charge. The thing is that does Deathstroke need his own series? Do you actually want a series where Deathstroke goes out and is the bad guy and is killing people and is not doing like the Teen Titans or Batman or whoever it is that usually goes into it? I mean, yes, I do like Deathstroke. They did really
Deathstroke
well
is literally the only one here that that stands out in any way as interesting.
Right. But the thing is do you want to see him decoupled from the other superheroes, or do you want to see him integrated with a Batman story or a Teen Titans story or something of that nature, where you're seeing Deathstroke against the superheroes? I don't know that I want to see Deathstroke just going around and killing people. That doesn't seem interesting to me.
I mean, compared to all these other ones, that's the only interesting one. But if you were to tell me, would you read a Deathstroke book? I would say no. But if I'm looking at this list of like, I don't care about Batwoman. In fact, I kind of hate the Batwoman character. Yes, Zatanna, I like her, but I'm not going to read a standalone Zatanna. She only works in context of the Justice League. Lobo, no.
Exactly.
The Demon.
And who cares about the Demon?
Maybe to know. Barbara Gordon Breakout, no. Firestorm, no. Shadow of the Bat, I don't know what that means.
No, that's a Batman one. So they did Absolute Batman, and people really liked it. So now they're trying that treatment with within continuity. But none of these projects that they're delving into are supposed to break continuity, like the Absolute series has.
Yeah, comics are dying anyway. None of this matters.
But yeah, Barbara Gordon breakout. No, Barbara Gordon is only interesting in terms of the Bat family. I don't care about the Demon. The Demon is really only interesting in terms of like what was it, Justice League Dark, where he's mixed
You
in
could do
with,
like a little Constantine sort of thing.
yeah. Yeah, same with Zatanna, and then I mean Lobo kind of has an attraction there, but
Not to me, but I guess more than just me. Yeah, I guess. But I don't give a crap about Lobo.
right. But I'm saying Lobo from the like I do know that Lobo is quite a fan favorite, same as Deathstroke. But again, Lobo to me is only interesting in the context of him like bouncing off of Superman or the Justice League or something of that nature.
Oh, I mean to you, but we're talking about everybody else. And when it comes to Lobo,
Right.
Like Lobo probably has a better chance of a solo than Deathstroke.
Probably.
None of this matters. Nobody gives a shit about comics.
No.
We're debating whether or not these comics are going to sell 2,000 copies are going to do any good.
No. I just, to me, it's they're sitting there going, we need to do this because fans love these characters. I'm like, no, actually,
No,
they
they
love
don't.
Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and the Justice League. They could care less of, yes, there's going to be a small fringe group that does love these characters, but how successful are these characters going to be in their own series? Not very.
I mean, there have been a lot of people that are... Here's the problem. We're having a discussion about shit tier characters when they can't even get the main tier characters right.
Right.
Who gives a crap about Batwoman? Nobody gives a crap about Batwoman. No one wants to buy a Batwoman comic.
Otherwise, the movie would be out rather than burned up and never being released.
No one's going to buy this. And you're sitting here going, well, we're going to try and feature individual... You can't even get Superman right. What makes you think you could do any of this? It's a waste of time.
Yep.
Go back to basics. Get your established characters to run fine. Stop trying to screw with everything. Oh, Superman. No, we're going to go back. We're going to make Superman gay and his family's gay. Superman's really into penis. Also, you want to buy Batwoman? No! I'm not interested in Batwoman. Hey, you want to read Zatanna? She's going to stop having her fishnets. Ugh. Hey, everybody likes Lobo because, Deadpool is really super popular. Lobo's kind of sarcastic. Oh, shut up about Lobo. I mean, you can do third tier stuff with a dark ancillary story that has nothing to do with it, but is set in the same universe. I guess. I don't think Deathstroke is a strong enough character to stand on his own, but theoretically you could write a strong individual Deathstroke story. But nobody really is interested in Deathstroke.
Nope.
The Demon, you could have like a little supernatural side thing, but it's not going to last very many issues. Once again, I'm not convinced you guys could write or have the capacity to put words on paper. What are we talking about? I'm talking like these things have a chance back when comics mattered. And I'm going to end on a good note, everybody. Apparently, it looks like Disney's probably going to release the theatrical cut of Star Wars.
Wow.
Oh.
One shot first.
We had leaked information from some tweets and maybe some other stuff of that seemingly it was being restored into 4K for future release.
Nice.
Those seem to be removed, but it seems likely that in the background they're working on that. People have been begging for a theatrical release of a decent quality since VHS because you can't get it.
Yeah.
I mean, the best version of the theatrical release that you can get is Laserdisc. Because Laserdisc was the highest quality version released of Star Wars before the special editions.
Wow.
Yep. So good luck getting them Laserdisc versions or having a Laserdisc that runs.
Yeah, having a player. Yeah. I haven't seen a laser. So when I was in high school, I took an electronics class, and somebody dropped off like 20 laserdisc players for us, and we basically got the schematics for the laserdisc player and took them apart and turned them into laser show um, machines. But I think the last time I actually saw something on a laser disc was in 1997.
There are weirder video formats than Laserdisc. Laserdisc
Oh, yeah.
is mainline compared to the HD VHSs that they released. And you might
grew up
go,
with the Betamax.
no, I'm not even talking about Betamax, Jason. Betamax is
No,
streamlined compared to what I'm talking about. They released
Oh no,
HD VHS,
oh,
which
I know,
required
I know.
an HD VHS player. That's right, a higher definition VHS. And you might
VHS was so crap.
you might go, huh? And I'm like, yep, that is real. It does exist. It was a very small market that did not take off. But yeah, I mean, those, you can find YouTube videos of people using those things. I mean, it's just, remember when they tried to do HD DVDs and then that got destroyed by Blu-ray.
Blu-ray blew them out of the water.
Silver, there was a time when they were trying to push two different forms, and one was HD DVD. And you could buy an HD DVD player that plugged into your Xbox. Or Blu-ray. And Blu-ray won because it was integrated into the PlayStation 3.
It's kind of funny that the format wars, as they were called, during the VHS era, it was VHS against Betamax, and basically Prawn made it so that
Yes and no.
VHS won.
Yes and no. There are two factors that always choose which format wins. It's pornography, and it's which one Disney goes with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Disney had a huge influence on whether or not DVD was chosen or whether or not Blu-ray was chosen as well. It's which one they decided to release their formats on. Remember when Disney mattered? Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Yes, the 90s were replete with Disney. You couldn't turn around without stumbling over Disney in the 90s.
Disney Store, like you cared.
Oh yeah. Disney stores were popping up everywhere.
Like, claim that's part of the reason why Times Square is what it is.
Really?
Well, so Times Square was always a trashy part of New York. I mean, everybody talks about stuff like, oh, Times Square is amazing. Not, like in the 70s, it was all like prawn theaters where you could watch videos of crustaceans. And it was a dump. It was a dump. Trying to clean it up started with trying to convince Disney to put a Disney store in Times Square, which was the start of pushing out all of the lewd and crap stores and turning it into basically the iconic Times Square it is today. Everybody looks, it's like, oh, New York's the center of the world. And it's like in the 70s, it was an assy place. It sucked. New York had rampant violence. It was terrible until they got the violence turned around and the place started to get better. Like, I mean, everybody looks at stuff as like, oh yeah, San Francisco. So San Francisco sucks right now. They have an app that tells you where the poop is.
Yeah. Oh gosh. That's so
Remember
bad.
when San Francisco was the full house with wholesome families living in cool looking places? Lombard Street.
No.
Nothing's permanent, everybody. Everything you love will be ruined. The Cosby Show was good.
Yes, it was. Adam Sandler was on the Cosby Show.
America's Dad. Then America's Dad decided to give girls drinks, and that was a problem.
Uh-huh.
Oh gosh.
Everything you love will be ruined. I used to love Star Wars.
Yep.
And it's a weird feeling to go from something that I loved Star Wars. I read the books, I played every game I could. If Star Wars was attached to it, I would play it. Then now I just have a loathing for Star, like just dismissive indifference. I didn't watch one of the biggest mainline Star Wars movies because I had lost all desire to even connect with that universe anymore.
After whatever, that's the second one with Rey. Yeah. Lost all interest in it. Never, I did not go see, what was the last one? Rise of Skywalker? Have no desire to see it.
Yeah, that lost money. Yeah.
Yep.
I had an article about that.
No desire whatsoever.
So, Silver, have we depressed you at the future of mankind?
Oh yeah. I mean, I already was, but even more so now. Thanks.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
It's spooky time. And speaking of spooky time.
You're welcome.
Speaking of spooky time, it's been a special time with each and every one of you. But much like Mr. Rogers, I have to call it a day and change my sweater and put on different shoes for some reason.
I'm proud of you.
I'm not proud of you, boys and girls. Your mother and I are very disappointed. You can do better. But as I make it out into the crack alley behind the tenant apartment building.
The castle?
Oh yeah, we're still doing the illusion of the castle. Well, technically the lore is the DG podcast is hurtling through space and we just land for spooky season. Trying to avoid the horrors of the universe. And as we pass out this podcast, I hope everybody enjoys their week and looks forward to the next Saturday as we learn more about the downfall of gaming and mankind. But it's time we get out of here. We appreciate you all. Let's go.
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.
Oh my God, it's so juicy.